ridiculous that we're here on January the 6th and I have my window unit air conditioner in my man cave running because it's kind of hot and humid.
Hey, I had to turn our AC on. Yeah, I was cooking up in here.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts on J6. Did
It's
you
it's
remember that it was
it,
J6?
it's climate change and global warming. You see, if Mike Eckles from Monroe was here, he would tell you, look, it's climate change. That's how liberals and Democrats are. They say that we don't have waterfowl migrating to Louisiana because it's climate change. But then when they're done talking about ducks, they'll jump back over and they'll say, but I'm a Republican and I don't believe in that unless it's to defend unharvested flooded agriculture and short stopping.
It's kind of
Then
like
it's climate change.
it's kind of like supporting the Second Amendment. There can be no but in that support. I'm for the Second Amendment. I'm for gun rights, but not automatic weapons or whatever. Pick your, not bump stocks. You can't do it. It's one or the other. You're either for us or you're against us. That's the way I view things.
Well, allegedly, our good friend, and I bring Mr. Eccles up. I mean, I like Mr. Eccles. I like picking at him. What is it he calls me? He calls me it's not catfish. What does he call me?
The short guy with bald hair,
No, what's his name? Spoonbill or no? What is
gadwall
it?
or whatever.
Gadwall. Yeah, he calls me Gadwall. Whatever. But allegedly, he. I think I hear. I mean, I don't think he would confirm nor deny. I hear that he has aspirations to be a congressman. Should there be a
Really?
vacancy, in a congressional seat?
Huh. So, are we
I tried to get him to
anticipating
come
Mike
on here
Johnson to step down over the Somali daycares?
well, I don't know. I mean, you saw that too.
I saw it too, so I had to just throw it out there.
I sent you a link to it on X, but I didn't know
Mhm.
if you'd seen it or not. Yeah, so apparently, for those of you that are tuning in, hello and welcome to the show. Apparently, Mike Johnson is getting daycare money from the Somalias in Minnesota. Who knows?
All I picture in that is remember the movie with Tom Hanks, the where the Somali pirates seize the ship and all that.
Yeah.
That's all I picture when we say Somali daycare. Is that guy doing that?
I don't know. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's one of those nights. Hello, Dee Dee White Clark. Hello, Val Baker. Hello, Jessica Langley Maddox. So we do have a few people that are just bored, silly, and decided to watch us. There's Mr. Barry Butler. Hello, Mr.
Well,
Butler.
we're glad that they're here now. I'm going to share out a little bit. I guess maybe we ought to go ahead and knock the break out. Hey, did you hear that water rate increases in Bossier?
Yeah,
They're
what is it?
coming after everybody's pocketbooks again.
Yeah, 2%. It's like the death of 1,000 paper cuts.
But
2% here, 2% there, 2% here, 2% there.
but I thought those data centers weren't going to cost us and force our water rates to go up.
Well, I thought the port deal down there, we weren't going to have any rate increases either. Don't I remember, Montgomery saying that or something to that effect?
I think he did. He said, "With this water line, we won't ever have to increase water rates again in the city of Bossier." But
Yeah,
here we are.
I gotta go back and I've been saying this for a while, but I think I'll have time in the next week or so. But I want to go back through a lot of those clips and chop up little segments and just start them posting. Schedule the post, one or two or three a day, and just with the sound effects.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
On over there and do it.
Yeah. Hey, I think we have our first viewer from Montana. Mr. Butler says he is watching from Montana.
Well, that's cool, and I'm envious, but we're at in Montana.
Yeah. Is it you up there? What was that show with Kevin Costner that we all went nuts over? Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, that would be on the north end.
Anyway. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I I think you're correct. Let's go ahead and get the countdown and the intro out of the way where everybody can share and make your drinks and your popcorn and all that good stuff I say ad nauseum every single show. But let's get that out of the way. We'll be back and I don't know. We'll figure out something to talk about. How about that?
Sound like a plan.
Here we go.
Knew a lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked.
You know, there's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating, so I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
And I titled it A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys.
Just, you know, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
And aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. Oh, folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico, the buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Through conscious shocking actions, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr. In theory, you know, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works.
This live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. So, 2026, I think I'm going to change the little intro up a little bit. We'll have to come up with something new. Just a little bit.
Change the little intro. You know, we probably have folks that watch our show that probably look at that or hear that, and they're kind of like, you know, what the heck are they talking about and all that stuff? And, you know, you did a really good job of picking out some moments that were of significance to, I mean, virtually everyone is watching this. I mean, this was a part of your life, different things. I mean, we're still living a part of it even today. You know, for example, all the illegal immigrants coming into the country. I mean, I can remember the first instance of me seeing that happening was right around 2010, maybe even earlier. I was actually around Carrizo Springs down in South Texas, and I seen buses coming in, and they were bringing busloads of illegal immigrants in. And I went and talked to one of the bus drivers in. He was a retired military guy. I think he was a Marine. And me and him got to talking, and he was like, I'm quitting this week. He said, this will be the last trip I make. He said, it ain't right. I can't take it anymore. And then fast forward years later, you and I started doing this show, and all these buses were coming into Bossier, and I just happened to go by Walmart. They're off of Airline Drive, and these buses were parked in the Walmart parking lot. And I go up there and started talking to the driver, and you heard him talking about, yeah, coming from the border or whatever. I mean, he's shipping them in.
Sounds like a Taco Bell commercial going wrong.
Yeah, and then COVID, I mean, look, we were on I hate to say we were conspiracy theorists or whatever, not necessarily, but it was just, that was science. I mean, these stupid masks weren't going to work.
Yeah.
They were never going to work. And,
well, here's the and I may have used this analogy back then, but you're right. They were stupid. They weren't going to work. There is a difference in being safe and feeling safe. Oh, I feel safe because the police protect me. The police, nothing against our fine Bossier City PD, but the police are generally there after the fact 9.5 times out of 10. They're there to put the little police tape up or take reports or whatever. And so having the police around doesn't make you safer. Okay. It's the same thing with the mask. Just having those stupid masks on, those stupid dust masks on, didn't make you any safer just because it made you feel safer. It made you feel better about yourself. Well, that's fine until you're in the grave.
That reminds me of Ron White. Did you ever see Ron White? He did that comedian skit where he was talking about he was on a plane. They lost engine power and the plane's gliding down. And he's like, he said, I just sit back, took a drink. And he's like, the guy sitting next to me says, do you think we're going to make it? And he's like, hell, he said, I think we're going to make it so fast, we're going to beat the police there.
That's very good point. Very good point. Oh, good gracious. So, all right. Hey, focus your camera. Either that or I got to quit drinking. And well, I'm technically not drinking, so there you go.
Okay, maybe that'll work.
Good fist bump. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean, look, people, and that brings us to several things that we're going to talk about tonight. I mean, at the end of the day, we say we're citizen journalists, and we're no different than all of y'all out there. We're just regular people. The only difference is Rex is a tech guy, and we were able to put this together. We saw a need, and we started just talking about things because that was something that in the past, different people tried to do, but technology advanced to the point to where you can do it like this, and there's a lot of people doing this.
Well, and I've kind of gone over a little bit of the history, so I won't belabor the point tonight, but I've stated this before, a lot of people may not realize the idea, the initial idea for Bossier Watch. I've been doing podcasts since 2003, audio podcasts, so I'm like a purist. I consider a podcast audio only, but now it's used commonly to, for video and audio. It's kind of like a Coke is everything, including Pepsi and Dr. Pepper. All right, but anyway, so the initial idea or concept for Bossier Watch started at the Bossier Republican Executive Committee, much to Robert Wright's dismay and me not calling it the Bossier Republican Party. It's like by statute the PEC. Anyway, but the idea started there, and it was me, had discussed with you about it, but that was about the time you were going off to drive, had to, go off doing the freight thing and all that and trucking thing. But it was me, Jason Brown, and John Dalton Griffin, and was it Trey? Maybe it was
Trey Gibson.
I think it was Trey. Hey, just kind of, we were round tabling it one night, and Jason Brown was pretty serious, and then he kind of went off and did the, law thing and all that and whatever he does with the 3-letter agencies and all that. And so, but anyway, that was kind of the initial seed that got planted in my mind. Hey, wait a minute. We need to do something locally around here. We were initially just going to do a roundtable audio podcast. Well, anyway, fast forward. And when was it? 2021 when we started, I think was our first show, or 2020. Anyway, we got started and we just started doing it.
Yeah, just started talking about, that was the thing. Talking about things that everybody talks about, but just not real loudly. And all we did is we just amplified it and talking about it publicly.
Yeah.
And the purpose is to try to make things better. And arguably, I think it's had an impact. I think it's made things better. And, maybe not always in a good way. I mean, I will acknowledge and say maybe we've adversely affected some things, but not intentionally.
Well,
not intentionally.
If you want to see the flower gardens and all that kind of stuff, this is not the place to do it. And we don't ambulance chase either. Very rarely do we do a news type of deal like that. We're here as amateur political pundits and to give our spin and take on what's going on.
Yeah, but it only works if you guys that are watching, if y'all tune in and you do something with the information that you get. And so, like tonight, I'm going to give you information, or me and Rex are going to give you information that is not going to be favorable to what I think you would probably prefer the information to be.
No.
And it's not going to, you're not going to want to go out there and share it.
That sounds ominous. Well,
That's not bad, but it's pretty simple. But the thing is you would rather the train wreck than you would what you're going to get.
yeah, and to prove that point, I pulled up, these are just Facebook stats for Bossier Watch from 2025. So just Facebook, which is the more popular of the platforms we're on. Obviously, we stream to YouTube, which, by the way, I need to remind everybody, go like and subscribe to us on the YouTube channel because, again, YouTube keeps all the shows archived. Go subscribe, start watching on YouTube. But anyway, so these are the stats for 2025. We had 30,419 interactions. That's reactions, likes, dislikes, anger, things, whatever. 15,000 comments and 2,000 shares of all the content. We had 1.9 million views of all contents. That's live shows, reels that we shared out, or standalone videos, photos, and text content and all that. That's pretty amazing for two amateur guys that like to get on their soapbox.
And how much money do we spend advertising?
Zero. We still have not.
Ding ding ding.
Yeah, we still have not. I'm making sure I'm correct. We still have not run a sponsored ad on Facebook. So
yeah, and
cool.
some people would say, some people would say, hey, that's not real cool. That's actually narrow-minded of you guys. But to me, I wear that as a badge of honor. I mean, we've not bought any of what people consume here and what they see. They either like it or they don't like it.
Well, all right. So the one exception to that is the one of the debates that we did, or maybe two of them, we did run a sponsored ad for those debates. So that would be the only exception. But the live shows and all that have just been, it's what we call organic viewers, like everybody watching right now and sharing it out and watching it later.
That's right. And because one of the groups that hosted the debate or that sponsored the debate wanted to promote it, and we agreed to promote it because that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah. So anyway, some interesting stats. Now, that leads into, did you watch any of the Bossier City Council meeting today?
I did not. In fact, I had wondered whether or not, because they apparently had a new location, I think, and whether or not they were going to have a live viewing.
Yeah, honestly, I was thinking that the meeting was next week for some reason. And so it wasn't even on my radar to watch it. And I happened to pull up YouTube and, oh, there's the city council meeting. So they did video stream it. The audio was a little flaky, but okay, I get it. They're in transition from their, new place that they're spending a bunch of taxpayer dollars on to have better chairs or better audio. I don't know, whatever they're doing anyway. But, it was not bad. So I thought that we might watch just a few minutes of it. Honestly, there wasn't much to me that was really newsworthy, but there was a little spill on the BeBoer entity.
Okay. BeBoer, go ahead on.
Yeah, we talked about BeBoer before. It's been a long time, so I don't remember exactly what I said or you said or whatever. But I do remember at the time that we talked about it, I made a little bit of fun of them because they had a basic shell of a website, not much content, but apparently they've been stepping up their game. So why don't we listen to Lisa Friday Johnson from the chamber as she goes over what our tax dollars are helping pay for.
Microphone was for me. me like this. I won't touch it. It's an honor to be here today to give you an update on the BeBoer campaign. I'll try to be as quick as possible, but just to kind of give you an idea, we started this campaign back in 2017, came to actually the city and the parish, and asked that the city and the parish help to underwrite a positive news campaign for Bossier City and Bossier Parish through the hotel motel tax that you receive. So all of our visitors are the ones that pay for this campaign for our local constituents. It's not paid by any local tax dollars and what have you, but it has been a very successful campaign. And we started this because in 2017 is when we were seeing that initial surge in growth with the National Cyber Research Park and at the base. And a lot of folks at that time were moving into the area, coming in to relocate. And we did not have one place of positive news. We had multiple websites, but not one place of positive news that individuals could go to learn about our area. So we came and asked, and we put this program together, and I called it at that time internal marketing and external marketing. The internal is talking to ourselves. Because how many times do we see folks when someone comes up to them and they ask them about directions or where's a great place to eat or something? We'll see a local person, we'll just look at them and go, why are you here? Why did you choose to stay here? That is not the answer we're looking for. And so we have to market to ourselves and remind ourselves we are the ambassadors.
Did you know
I love Lisa, but
in our community.
She lost me there.
And so,
well, did you know you were an ambassador? I'm going to stop her for a second, but I do want to kind of finish this out because she goes over some of the stats.
Well, I've been called worse, so I would.
You're an ambassador,
I
and you should be a positive ambassador. I want you to. I am appointing you the ambassador of positivity, Duke Lowrie.
Kara calls me worse than that every morning.
You know,
get up, you ambassador.
Yeah, but I would like to correct her just a little bit that the funding for that may come out of the hotel motel tax, and so yes, in theory, visitors are paying for it, but because it's being used for the BeBoer stuff, then that's less that it could be used for other things. So either way, it's tax dollars, Lisa. I mean, there ain't no free lunch ever. But she does go over some interesting information, and look, okay. You know, we're not the positive guys out here. We're not going to put the positive spin on too many things. So somebody's got to do it. So BeBoer.
Yeah, but you know what? On that, I was riding through Bossier yesterday or today. I think it was yesterday. And man, the overpass thing, you know, that was pretty good. I will tell you, BCPD had a motorcycle cop sitting. Now, I was on my motorcycle when I went over the overpass to Benton. But that motorcycle cop boy, he was sitting right on top of the hill and he was shooting over the top. You couldn't even see him if you were coming from the other side. So if y'all are taking the overpass to Benton and you're planning on speeding, he's going to get you. I'm just telling you, y'all better not speed on that dude.
They got to help pay for that daggum thing anyway, or what?
But I was riding around and I was thinking to myself, man, you know what? Things are kind of coming together. It's kind of nice. If only we could get, Benton Road kind of cleaned up and swept up. I mean, they had a contractor come through there and there's crap everywhere. All up and down Benton Road.
Really?
It looks disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive down, around East Texas and look at all the debris everywhere.
Really?
And I know what the city's going to say. The city's going to say, "Oh, well, that's the state. That ain't us. That's the state." Well, it's freaking in Bossier City.
Yeah, they could go clean it up. What's the state going to do? Sue them for cleaning up? How would that go over?
Anyway.
All right. So while we're on that subject of improvements and since you're now the ambassador of positivity, have you ridden on the new I-20 yet?
I did, and that was the other thing. I thought it was kind of cool. I got on at Benton Road and headed over the bridge to Shreveport. And I will tell you, I was kind of like, man, for as long as they had this closed down, I sure thought they'd done more improvements kind of through there than what I saw. I don't know. I ain't rode all of it, so I hadn't seen everything.
those exits and entrance deals and all that, entrance ramps, they're pretty complicated. Then there's a whole bridge thing, and I'm just happy that I could ride up and down there and not get my teeth rattled. And I'm happy that I don't have to cut through Bossier anymore, because I've avoided I-20 in that construction like the plague for the last few years. I can now cut down through Industrial Drive, jump on 20, and jump over to Shreveport when I need to go do stuff over there. It's really nice for 300. What was it? 320 million?
Yeah. Well, we got to be careful here because we're saying too many nice things.
Yeah. But you're the new ambassador of positivity. I anointed you as such because of what Lisa said. She has turned us into positive folks, or at least
yeah,
you.
it's just her presence on video here is making us become more nice.
Yeah. So
It, it,
let's give her some more free advertisement and listen to what else she says.
What this is to do to help us convey and to put out there. Many of the articles that are on our BeBoer blog in the early days actually came from our military family and friends, because those folks are the ones that move around quite often, and they go find those hidden gems and those little hole in the walls of those hidden secrets that a community has.
Secrets.
And then we were like, oh wow! And so
Like
we
running
saw
out
a
the
lot
Chinese
of traction
motel
with
people
that.
and cutting off their wall.
So what I want to show you today
Or
are
like,
the statistics for
communist
2025
China-controlled
and
golf
what your support
courses?
has done.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
So I first want to
right, here we
address
go.
the white paper that you have in front of you, not the annual manual. We'll get to that in just a moment. But the white paper is the BeBoer site statistics and then the social media statistics. And I do have some 2024 numbers to share with you as a comparison. So I won't read it to you. You're all very intelligent and you can read that as well. But the BeBoer page blog views, you'll see how the blog is consistent with an average of 4,000, 5,000 views a month. We did have in February, March, and April of 2025 an uptick of 8,500, give or take, of views during those months. During those months, we actually partnered with the Advocate and ran some paid ads throughout the state of Louisiana to encourage our friends to come to the BeBoer blog and to find these stories. So they actually on their social media sites ran our stories and everything else straight from the BeBoer. You'll see here some of the most popular blog posts. The Hangar and Tap House opens in Bossier, got over 11,000 views. This first report that I got was in mid-December. I had her updated this week for all
You
of
gotta
December.
you gotta stop for a second. Okay, enough about BeBoer. How do you think she's gonna fare in the mayor's race against Tommy, Hammonds, and Smith? How's that gonna go with her?
Heads up between her and Tommy. She's going to trounce Tommy. Heads up between her and Hammonds. I don't know. Of course, I'm biased. I would lean towards Hammonds, but I got to say, while we may have a little fun with Lisa Friday Johnson, she does a good job at her job, which is representing the chamber and being the director or whatever of the chamber, and this BeBoer.com and all that. Look, she does a good job of it. She's well spoken. Got to give her credit for that.
Well, okay. Well, I'm
Come on,
against
Mr.
abortion.
Positive.
I'm against abortion, so I'm not going to kill the baby in the womb. We'll move on. Keep going.
Okay. Just, wanted to make sure. All right, here we go. And there's not too much more of this.
What was added to this list that was not here, so that means something changed significantly in the last 2 weeks of the month of December, was that third bullet that you see there. Hong Kong Asian market opens in Benton with 2,500 views. And then, of course, right above that with...
Wait, did she just say Asian market in Benton? Now, did they run an article on shutting down the Asian-owned and Asian-managed hotel where the city cut their water off even though their bill was paid and not past due? Did I miss that article?
But boy, you just said a mouthful right there. She's talking about the Hong Kong market up there off of Benton Road, and I think Vanceville, not
Oh.
Vanceville, whatever that cut through road is, kind of what is it? North of the water tower up there, past the Louisiana Hayride. You know that cut through. There was a little shopping center there on Benton Road, and before you get to the old Atkins Saunier pecan orchard, and anyway, the grocery store is like the Asian Chinese market. But why are they spending money promoting that? I'm confused a little on that one. I mean, we got perfectly good Chinese golf courses down here, and I'm actually interested now in hearing about their tax abatement programs.
Well, there was the whole discussion last night at the PEC committee. Several of the members there, I got to say, me included, we were just kind of interested in this communism thing. I mean, it sounds intriguing. I don't know. Maybe we're all going to convert. Maybe we need to resurrect McCarthy.
Well, hey, I mean, look, I know you don't have one of those businesses that you probably have your home loan and your escrow, your taxes are kind of in that, and that's probably the way the majority of people is. But if there's any business owners in the comments, I'm curious, how was y'all's taxes? Because this is the first show we've done this year. And everybody had to pay their taxes. I can tell you that my tax bills all went up. They were all higher. Had to pay a lot more money.
You mean your taxes didn't go down?
No, they didn't go down. No abatement here, baby. So I'm just wondering how everyone else feels about your taxes. You're having to pay, and not just pay the same, you're having to pay increased taxes. And yet there's other people that have never been here a day in their life. I mean, they're getting to get out of paying any taxes. And, it seems like every day, more and more of our political candidates, they're all good with giving away your tax dollars. And I mean, and here's the worst part about it. Whatever the abatement is that the police jury gave them and the school board, you don't even know.
Right. Oh, those
pesky
little agreement things.
You don't get to know what break they were given, but you sure get to know what your increases were.
Just trust the government; they're here to help you, always.
Don't send your tax payment in you individually or with your small business, and you're going to find out real quick.
Yeah. So let's see what bang for the buck their advertising dollars got with BeBoer.
With over nearly 10,000 views, looking for summer break fun in Bossier. So that kind of gives you an idea of where the stories are. Our social media is what's really, really impressive. The BeBoer Facebook page has over 10,000 followers. In 2024, we had 5,000. We've doubled it. The BeBoer Instagram account has increased by about 200. So obviously our followers are more on the Facebook, which tends to be more of an older, those that are moving crowd, looking to relocate, looking to find that information of what a community has. We now have a TikTok account.
Listen closely,
we have
dude.
over 3,300 followers on TikTok. So that is brand new for 2025. Our views in Facebook.
Right. She'll talk some more about TikTok.
2024, our Facebook views were 350,000 views. In 2025, 2.5 million views on Facebook. The content, the interactions on Facebook in 2024 were over 5,000 interactions. In 2025, over 23,000 interactions.
I mean, just imagine, Lisa, if y'all had talked about politics, there's no telling y'all to blown the roof off of it.
But they're running ads. Yeah. How's that fair comparing to us? We don't run no ads.
Well, they got to get ahead somehow. Yeah, I would say she watched our show when we made fun of BeBoer the last time, and then that's when they ramped up the game. And like Jess says, Mr. Sadow, she's singing for her supper. In all
Look,
seriousness, look, she
I
is supposed to do a positive spin, and she's doing a fine job of it.
yeah, look, I am not critical
Right.
of Lisa. She's doing the job that she's supposed to be doing, and I'm not critical of that. But what I am critical of, and it's this ideology, and it's this ideology that your government has a role in growing business in your community and using taxing you to do it. And so I think in some show in the past, we talked about if you started a community in some place so remote in the country where there's nowhere else, you start out, you move there, you build a house out in the middle of nowhere. You probably don't even have electricity. And, somebody says, you know what? That's a nice place right there that you built, Rex, out in the middle of nowhere. It's peaceful. I think I would like to live like that. And they move right beside you. That next thing you know, somebody else sees y'all both there and they move in, you get more people. And then one day somebody comes up there and they say, hey guys, when we're working during the day, I'm worried about somebody may come and break into my house. We need a police. You know what? That's a good idea. And so then it said, tell you what, we're going to all pitch in our money and we're going to pay for a popo. And then they say, but what if our house catches on fire? The popo ain't going to be able to do nothing about that. And they say, yeah, you know what? We need a fire department too. So then you got a fire department. And then, well, you know what? We need somebody to run all this stuff. We're going to need to have a mayor and all this stuff. And then you get some government. And then the next thing you know, those people are deciding, hey, we need to raise some tax monies because we need to grow this area. We need to build some better roads. We need to build some better water lines and all this stuff. So they start taxing you. And then the next thing you know what? We need to have this nanofiltration so that we've got the best water possible. So we better spend some money to get some more business in here to generate more revenue. That way we can get more people in here. And it just grows and grows and grows and grows. At what point in that process does this whole thing go wrong? To me, go ahead.
Well, so let me just add my little 2 cents here. I don't have a problem at all with BeBoer. I mean, I might be, making a little fun of it. And I think Lisa's doing a fine job in her role. But the problem I have is, are tax dollars better spent with this, whether it's the hotel motel tax or not, or should the BeBoer site and organization be completely private and funded by advertisement or membership fees or whatever? I look, I got a question, and maybe I'm wrong. So Lisa, you're more than welcome to correct in the comments or send us a text message or whatever. I'm wondering if the businesses that they're highlighting on the BeBoer site are members of the Bossier Chamber.
Well, I'm totally not talking about BeBoer. I am.
Okay.
Is it a component of the whole overarching discussion and thought process I'm having here? Yeah, it is, but I'm not, because we have Lisa on here because Lisa did this. I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking about data centers. I'm thinking about the port. I'm thinking about the tax abatement. I'm thinking about our local governments doing things that we don't know about, and even doing non-disclosure agreements to hide it from the public, and all in the name of growing our community. So riddle me this. If Bossier is one of the fastest growing cities in the state, before we're doing these things, why is it that we're having to spend and raise taxpayer dollars to pay for getting more business here? Are we all growing because people are
Is it the
coming
chicken or
here?
the egg?
Are they coming here because they're hoping you're going to increase taxes and give abatements to get businesses to come here? Or are they coming here because they already have something here? Is that why we're growing? I know somebody's going to jump up there and say, well, everybody's fleeing Shreveport. Yeah, that's a part of it, but that's not all of it.
I don't think. If only we had somebody in the audience watching the show that had a PhD or whatever in this sort of thing. Maybe he could give us a little insight, and maybe he already has in some blog article about the demographics of that. I would like to know the true demographics and the out migration and in migration, or I guess migration and out migration of the people coming into Bossier City.
Yeah, but we don't have to. You don't have to have. I mean, with all due respect, you don't have to have a PhD to be able to wrap your head around this concept. And this is what Danny McCormick was trying to articulate at the Caddo Parish meeting today, PEC meeting over there today. But and it's that problem that limited government conservatives have, and these people that run, and you guys are all fixing, you face it every election. You have people that get on the ballot, they tell you they're conservative, they're about smaller government, they're about this and that, and then what do? They jump full board economic development. We got to have taxpayer dollars to go and get more business to come here, and we're going to give away the farm.
Well,
And they would say, well, if we don't do that, Tyler, Texas over there is going to give them a better deal, and we won't even be in consideration. They'll just give it to them. And so we've got to give it to nut. So what you're doing is you're racing to the bottom. You're racing everybody to give as much free stuff at your expense away.
I agree with you 100%, but here's the problem. You can't just blame it on the politicians, because everybody's a conservative until their pet project is on the chopping block. So TOPS is the easy target and example. Really. Everybody, yeah, everybody's for, we're anti-socialism and blah, 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 and we're conservatives. Well, yeah, mention cutting the TOPS scholarship program out and see what happens.
Look, I'm down with it.
Yeah,
cut it.
I am too.
My 3 kids ain't seen the benefit of any of it.
Right.
None of it.
Right. But you see my point. Everybody's a conservative until their pet project or their pet deal might be considered for being cut. And that's the problem.
Maybe communities grow based on having good public safety, a good water system, and good roads. Maybe just the basics gets a community to where companies and businesses and people want to come and be a part of that community because they have a stable environment versus fluctuating property taxes, fluctuating water and sanitation and public safety rates. I mean, maybe stability is more important. I mean, how about we try that? I would tend to think that Bossier grows the way that it grows because we have historically had stability. Things have been static. We've had good public safety, better than I would say anybody in the state. And I mean, look, I'll give even the old dog, the old graybeards, as Jeff Sadow says in Bossier, the graybeards did a good job of keeping us with water and sewer. You didn't see rate increases. It was pretty much static. Things were stable. I think that's why Bossier grew. It's not because we were giving away the farm, and I know Jeff would argue. He'd say, yeah, we gave away the farm on a lot of things. Yeah, we did. But overriding it was because we had stability.
But you're wrong, Duke, and I can prove it with math.
Okay, come on with it.
All right, so here we go.
Because I'm from Halton. It was just how many ducks and stuff we killed, but it got to where we didn't have ducks anymore because Mike Eckles was supporting unharvested flooded agriculture up north.
He's a corn boy.
Story.
So
he's a cornhole.
Let me prove it with the math, and it's very simple. If you go back and look at the numbers for Bossier City is pretty much flatlined or plateaued or maybe even lost a little bit of population for the last decade, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, except for the last couple of years. Now, what did Lisa Friday Johnson just say that they did with BeBoer? She said they put a lot of emphasis on their website and their social media, and she touted all those stats, and that tracks perfectly with the increase or influx of people into Bossier and causing the growth in Bossier City and Bossier Parish as well. See, it's the math. Correlation does equal causation, or causation equals correlation. It's Lisa's. They did such a good job of BeBoer. Everybody wants to be Bossier.
Look, I mean, it's like Senator Kennedy said. He said, Bossier better than sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he said it.
I would say that that's why people are flocking to our fair city.
Yeah. I mean, Senator Kennedy put us on the map. He said, Bossier, it's better than sex.
Yeah, and I think Eckles is right. Instead of being the new executive director of the Flyway Federation, you should be the executive director of Gadwall Unlimited.
keep pounding on all those teal and wood ducks over there, Eckles. You'll finally kill them all out, and then you won't have nothing.
All right, so I won't bore us anymore with Lisa. Again, Lisa did a fine job in doing the presentation. They've already voted to fund her, so that's not really an issue. She's just doing a little reporting, and I'm sure Mr. Sadow that they're fudging the numbers a little bit, but that's everybody fudges their numbers a little bit and all that. But I mean, we've had 1.9 million views. We showed you the stats.
Yeah, I mean, look, just overall, I want people to think about, how we vote for our elected officials and stuff, because everybody says they're conservative. Everybody says they're limited government. But, when it comes down to it, if you really want to know, start talking about economic development and start talking about what is appropriate for using your tax dollars to try to get businesses to come. And that's where the rubber meets the road a little bit in my mind.
And a point that I brought up before, and you may have as well, when you hear these companies say they're going, like, let's just pick on the data center. So let's say this data center A is touting 100 jobs permanently, not considering construction. Well, are those 100 people coming into the city for those jobs? Because that's counter to what everybody wants. We want jobs for our Bossier City residents. But the problem with providing jobs for the Bossier City residents is you don't grow the tax base any. And so you can't do more cool stuff like make Bossier even better.
Right.
You follow the logic?
And I'm glad Mike is in the comments, because I had a specific question, because over in his neck of the woods towards Monroe, they got a center over there in Richland Parish.
Right.
And to that end that you're talking about people getting, the local employment and stuff like that, there have been some questions arise regarding the data center over there and people getting business out of it as a result, and people not from that area getting business, even out of state. And I'd kind of really like to ask that question and know about whether that's accurate or not.
Right. Now, granted, even if they're using, so I think the example we used a couple of shows ago or whenever it was the drilling of the wells. Purportedly, that was a Texas firm or whatever instead of a Louisiana firm. But then again, did that Texas firm have to buy supplies and materials locally? Did their guys have to rent hotel rooms or trailers or Airbnbs or whatever? Were they spending gasoline tax dollars, here locally? So all those things come into play, and you have to factor in all those. My point is that goes back to what you were discussing earlier, which is, what is the root cause of the growth? Is it the chicken or is it the egg? BeBoer.
Yeah, I mean, Bossier in particular, we have a retirement, a really stable and strong retirement community by virtue of Barksdale. We're blessed in Bossier to have Barksdale Air Force Base, and that is our bread and butter. Everything and anything that we do has to be to support that mission per se, whether you're military or not. That's our community in a nutshell. Barksdale goes away, this is a ghost town.
Barksdale, and then there's the whole healthcare industry around here, but we won't even, let's not go down that rabbit hole yet. So, what else are we going to talk about tonight? Have you heard? And they didn't mention today about a CAO. Are we just in CAO limbo or what?
Well, I think before we get to the CAO, you probably better talk about the water rate increase. But you know what?
Yes.
Maybe you're right. The CAO Amanda left yesterday, and then today they announced
jumped
2%
ship.
water rate increase.
Yeah, imagine that. I
And
wonder. That's perfect timing. She jumped ship before it happens. Before it happened.
that's right. So now we were advocating in favor of. We took the position of being in favor of the data center here. You know,
Right.
we looked at the water stuff. We did a whole show that there was enough production of water to supply the thing from Bossier City, and we didn't see any problem there. Now, to the question of electricity, we can't address that. That's totally on SWEPCO, and we've had rolling blackouts here or blackouts here in Bossier and Shreveport recently in the last year or two. So that's a big question mark there. And the police jury and the school board and the tax abatement thing, well, you got non-disclosure agreements. So you don't know whether they're paying them or they're going to get taxes. You got no idea.
But here's what we do know.
How is that right? Your Louisiana legislature voted to be able to do all of that under the cover of darkness.
Yeah, thanks, Eckles. What did you vote for? How did you vote on that Stephen Jackson bill?
I think Eckles was in the right place on it, but I don't remember. Mike, maybe you remember. You voted on it.
All right, so January 6th, the infamous J6 day. In compliance with Ordinance 1 of 2025, Bossier City's water rates have increased 2%, effective January 1, 2026. Except mine because, I'm well water. This release is to serve as a reminder of the previously approved increase. I thought they wasn't supposed to increase nothing. The port was the savior.
No.
You know, England was going to literally walk across the Red River on top of the water.
Well, that's what we were told. I mean, I distinctly recall a Bossier City councilman saying, if we pass this, we won't ever have to raise water rates in Bossier City again. And, well, there's been one rate increase here in the past since that quote. And then here's another one.
Yeah. So here you go. The first monthly bills reflecting the increase will be impacted January 8th. In addition to informing Bossier City water customers about this increase, we would like to make customers aware of the option to enroll in auto pay and take advantage of the convenience of paperless billing. Those who need assistance in signing up, blah, 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 blah.
But wait a minute, Rex. We, in a previous show, we said, in fact, and if I recall correctly, I went to the Bossier City Council meeting and I clarified on record that this agreement that Bossier City was making with this unknown industrial company outside the city limits would bear the burden of the cost of the production of any excessive water or whatever to get distributed to them. Didn't I do that?
Yeah, you did.
I think I did do.
You did, but this increase was done back a while ago. And so are we trying to say, correct me if I'm wrong, are we trying to say that this data center that we don't know about as a data center because of the NDAs is responsible for these increases, or is it just or is it the nanofiltration? I forget what is driving these costs.
I'm not saying that, but but what I am saying is that KSLA has a post and an article and a report going, and everybody in there is saying that this is because of the data center.
Oh, but the increase is because of the, I mean,
the
timing is a little suspect.
Well, that's what the story is. But let me take you and everybody watching back for a walk down memory lane. Remember when we were talking about the city of Benton? Because the city of Benton buys their water from the city of Bossier. And remember Mayor Friday talking about, remember when they were talking about their water rate increases, and there was a little bit of a dispute from some of they're not, what are they again? Not council people.
Aldermen.
Aldermen, yeah, they're aldermen. So that they were having a little bit of dispute on the decision to divide that rate increase up And then, if you remember, Mayor Friday said, well, y'all better be ready because there will be another increase coming down the road. Well, guess what? The increase he was talking about was this one right here. And the reason it is, this has nothing to do with the data center. This was all a part of the rate increase from way back when they knew, and rather than put it all at once, Bossier City did, they divided it up. And your evidence is in the fact, I mean, Mayor Friday and Benton acknowledged it, and we covered it on the show. We covered the Bossier City Council meeting where they talked about it.
Well,
so
yeah, okay, that is true.
Anybody saying that this is due to the data center, that's just not true. And you can go back and watch the video, and it's not. It's just patently false.
Yeah. So that goes back to my question. What is the cause of this increase? What is driving the cause? Refresh my memory or that of our viewers, if you know.
Well, if you recall correctly, there was an error, and it was ordered by the state to increase because they had a shortfall in their fund, in their water fund.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So this is a state mandated increase. And by the way, the cornhole is in the guest room now.
Oh, he is gonna. I sent him the link, and I was like, "Hey, if you want to come on and talk, you can more than talk. That'd be fun. I'm glad he's here."
Yeah. So give me just a second. Let me do a little button clicking here, and let me see if I can get him on the show. Mr. Eckles, can you hear us?
Better than a duck call in January. Yes, I can hear you.
No short stopping of ducks for you.
So
we got none here in North Louisiana. I think y'all stole them all.
They're not here, brother. In fact, it's so wildlife fisheries decided they wasn't even going to fly a survey up here in West Louisiana.
All I can say is we better all take up fishing.
Hey, that's a good idea. Right. I agree with that 100%.
He would. Hey, so look, how's the data center thing going over in y'all's neck of the woods? So for everybody watching the show, most of these are Bossier folks. This is Mike Eckles. He's a legislator from over around Monroe, and great guy. I would say he's a limited government conservative. 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, y'all know my political take, he's on the right side of things. We disagree on ducks, but I think everything else I'm on the same page with him on. But how's y'all's data center going?
You know, it's been an absolute phenomenon here just to see the ripple effect of what's going on with the data center. I've toured the site several times, and there are over 3,700 people on that site working day in, day out. That'll ramp up to between 5,000 and 6,000 people. If you just see the logistics of it, it's hard to comprehend. But you talked about ripple effect earlier. There is a massive ripple effect. Yeah, you talked about hotel rooms, food and beverage sales, apartment rentals, Airbnb, quality of life, people going to the movies. I mean, there are thousands of people that are coming in doing business in Monroe, Rayville, Delhi, Bastrop, all over. This effect is not just in Richland Parish. It is over multiple parishes. And yeah, I agree that at the end of the game, there'll be 500, 600 permanent jobs, but you've got thousands of people that are tens of thousands that are being impacted today because of it, and will for the next several years.
So the scale of that is hard to imagine. We shared out, I think it was the Monroe Chamber had an aerial video of it that we shared out on the Bossier Watch page so people could get some kind of idea of the scale of it. It's like ginormous.
It's 5 miles long, 1 mile deep. They've got these water containment systems that are, I mean, they're maybe 50, 70 feet deep that they're using to drain off storm drainage and water I guess they're going to use that as they fuel some of their water needs for the property. I mean, it's unimaginable when you look at it, the thousands of vehicles and heavy machinery and cranes, and then the monolithic structures that they're building where all this data AI technology will go. It's hard to imagine when you see these structures, but they're pretty large and phenomenal.
So Yeah, go ahead,
What
Duke.
was that an? And I may be misspeaking here, and I know you can correct me. Was that pre or was that ITEP or pre? Because y'all changed things this past year. What kind of a tax situation is that with that project over there?
So what we granted for the Meta project about a year before they announced in our legislative session, Chris Turner brought the bill, but it was a bill to provide a tax exemption on sales of basically hardware or equipment that they'll use within the property. So all those billions of dollars in NVIDIA processors they're buying, and it's tens of billions of dollars worth of equipment, they have a sales tax exemption on that. Beyond that, they're injecting, hundreds, if not tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars in local property taxes and all these other tax benefits that they're providing to that region. I can tell you, if you're Richland Parish, the amount of dollars you're going to collect in future property taxes is going to put a lot of nice new schools up, and I'm sure some even some astroturf on some football fields, if I had to guess.
So let me ask you this. Were you required to sign any sort of NDA, or do you know of any local politicians for that project that were required to sign NDAs for it?
I didn't sign one. I do a lot of business, and it better be pretty spectacular before I sign an NDA on something, because folks can use that against you in a lot of ways. But I didn't hear of anybody locally. There may have been some folks, really close to the deal that did, but for the most part, nobody in my ecosystem had to sign one.
So the next question I have, or Duke, I don't want to cut you off. All right, so we're talking about the project as it is now, but the elephant in the room that everybody is in an uproar about is the potential demand on the power grid. So can you kind of discuss that situation and what's coming, up in the future as far as what Meta has decided to do, what I think it's SWEPCO over there, what SWEPCO has decided to do, or how is that going to work?
Energy.
Energy. So are all our lights going to dim when they fire this thing up, or what's going to happen?
I find it kind of comical when I listen to the folks talking about their power bills are already going up. That they were complaining before the site had even turned dirt. All they had were machines out there fueled by diesel moving things, and literally people were complaining that their power was going up. That wasn't even possible at that time. Now, Entergy has announced that they're building three 250 megawatt plants right there, just on I think, the north side of the site. This plant that they're building only has the demand for maybe 1.5 to 2 of those plants. So they're building more capacity than they actually need. And in typical economics, when you have some more supply than you do demand, prices should shift downward. But that's just my understanding of economics. So I'm hopeful that with that additional capacity, it will actually provide more opportunity to provide electricity at lower prices in this region. Now, I do also think there's a potential for other economic development, other AI centers around this. Typically, these groups cluster together. If you look at what happened in Virginia over the last 10 years, you didn't just get one or two, you got a bunch. And so we know, and I ran a House resolution to study this issue, whether it's small nuclear reactor, traditional nuclear power, additional, coal and or gas fired, really gas fired in Louisiana more so than coal, but looking at other forms of electricity and growing our demand here. Because, if you look at what we've done over the last 2 years, we've created a more vibrant economic development for our state, opportunity for our state. I think you're going to see Louisiana over the next 5 to 10 years excel in a lot of ways that nobody can expect because of the more friendly tax environment, more friendly regulatory environment. So I think data centers are one piece of that, but I also think that traditional manufacturing, LNG, and then other byproducts like the Hyundai steel plant are all just a signal of what's to come.
Yeah. So
So
Jeff, oh, go ahead, Duke.
Well, so Mike, look, I know you to be a conservative. I know that you are. I watch your votes. I see how you carry yourself in the legislature. I mean, you're one of the good guys in my mind. Maybe I'm a little bit further to the right than you are. And when I hear people, especially politicians, say economic development, I mean, it makes the hair stand up on my arm. I get, well, I almost break out in hives. Where am I wrong on being scared of economic development from politicians, because from my viewpoint, I just paid my yearly property tax bills. They all went up, and from me as a business owner, I mean, I've been here in Bossier all my life, and I kind of take offense. I don't get no breaks. I'm not getting any breaks, and for a business that's never set foot in our parish, they're fixing to get a break, and I don't even know what they're getting. We NDAs. As a limited government conservative, where am I wrong in not being mad about this or irritated or
Well,
to
do
one
you own a
conservative to
home?
another?
Do
You
you own a
daggum
home?
right. Yeah.
You have a homestead exemption, so you get a break. So there are lots of breaks out there for both individuals and for businesses. Now, I do think you talked about the chicken and the egg, because Louisiana's had such crappy tax policy and regulatory policy, franchise tax, inventory tax. We've had to create all these other bells and whistles to try to bring people to our state. Fundamentally, though, we have actually shifted that now, where we've lowered personal income taxes down to 3%, business taxes from 7.5 to 5.5%. I think what you're going to see in the upcoming legislative session is a continued effort to continue to lower those personal taxes. I say all that because you look at states like Texas and/or Florida, where you have thousands and hundreds of thousands of people flocking to those states because of the low regulation, because of the low taxes. I think Louisiana's had to play games with incentives for decades because I mean, you could never get to the chicken because nobody lay an egg. And I think that's what we've had to do is lay all these eggs and hoping they would hatch. Once we have a proper regulatory environment and tax environment, you don't have to do that. You don't have to play those games. Businesses will come here and we can roll off some of these exemptions and then continue to further compress taxes.
But wouldn't it be better? I mean, because the bottom line is that if we don't give these breaks, Texas, or let's say Tyler or whatever, they're going to give the break, or Alabama's going to give the break. And so we're basically racing them to give the break. So wouldn't it be better at the federal level that we just said, hey, across the board, all states, we're not going to give these breaks anymore? You can't do that.
Oh, sure. Now, if you look at leveling the playing field, then it comes down to quality of life. And you mentioned crime before and other things. It's more than just having a community with streets and running water. There's some other components to it that I think make communities special. But in the whole sum of things, yes, just competing on a level playing ground across the board. If we all had the same tax rate, we all had the same regulatory environment, then it's how hot, how cold it is, and how close is your mother-in-law and how far do you have to move away.
So if you were in DC, you would support that.
There's so many things from a DC level that need to change. I still think our tax policy at the federal level, we still have too high of a tax rate for individuals. I actually can see and understand what President Trump is doing with tariffs and moving back to where we were in the early 1900s with tax policy and letting others pay those for us. And we're on more of a consumption-based tax. Same thing in the business environment and deregulating. I still think we got a lot of work to do in those two spaces to make Louisiana and the United States more competitive and fair for everybody. And then it becomes, which states like a Florida decide to be ultra competitive and get rid of their personal income tax. And then I think that's when you'll start to see more and more people, grow it becomes a state game versus a federal game.
I gotta say, that was the slickest pivot and non-answer I've heard in a while. You will do well if you decide to go to Washington, Mr. Eckles.
I travel to Washington frequently. I haven't fixed it yet.
Hey, good luck with that.
There's a lot of work to do there, and obviously, the next several years, I'm optimistic about the Trump administration and what they're doing, and hopefully, with more of his chess moves, we'll see benefit in our state and all across America.
So, one more quick question. I want to shift back to the power consumption and all that. Is it your understanding, or correct me if I'm wrong, so they're going to build these power plants basically for the data center? And I would assume or guess, correct me if I'm wrong, that energy is going to, if they do have excess capacity in the generation of that power, then energy plans for those power plants to be able to sell to the residential customers and other business customers. Is that correct? In other words, these are not just dedicated for the Meta data center.
Either that or they're going to waste a few $1 billion. And I don't think their shareholders would appreciate that much. So I'm just looking at it since they're they're capitalized by the public markets. They would be doing this for either the benefit of commercial markets or residential markets. You don't build that much capacity without having to put some of it on the grid. And we know if you look at demand data for the next several years, we're only going to continue to consume more and more power. They're going to use natural gas plants to do what they're doing. So I'm optimistic that it could actually lower prices long term. Now, let me point out something that nobody's talking about. And, I've had a talk radio show for 20 years, so I can start to see, where the slippery slope is. And when you look at social media and some of the messages that are out there, when I look at how they're messaging in other communities about air quality, water quality, prices going up, and what the stage they're setting, some of this is being set up by the trial bar so they can go out and do these massive class action lawsuits across states. You see it. You can see it in the messaging. It's being staged and set up. That's unfortunate in this scenario because when I go to the Meta site, the amount of wildlife protection that they have on that site, I've been around farming all my life. I've been around crop dusting all my life from family members doing that. And I've seen what we have literally dropped all over the farm fields and laid in these cornfields or buried in the ground that thank God they're having to dig up and clean up right now.
Like white oak?
White oak or what? They're putting bad stuff in the ground. They have over the years. All right.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, these guys are out there doing everything they can to be as responsible. I mean, I saw several hundred mallards sitting in their lakes when I toured the site. I figured out where the ducks went. They're over there hanging out at Meta because all the nice stuff that's they're doing to the habitat over there. So
heated ponds.
they're doing the right thing. They're trying to follow the rules. I think they've learned lessons in other states, and I think they're going to be good corporate citizens in a very rural place. And there are going to be some people that don't like the traffic and the pain points that come with it, but there's a lot of upside for a lot of people in this opportunity.
Hey, here's an idea. Energy should use a hydroelectric power. So what we need to do is get some legislation going to get another lake built in the state of Louisiana over there to help supply power. See? And then we get fishing out of it. We don't build any new lakes in this state.
The way I appreciate lakes and hydroelectric power is it has to come from up high and go down to somewhere lower. And I'm not certain outside of the Mississippi River. And if you're proposing damming that up, that's a bigger conversation.
Well, look, we can dam it up if we want. They could dam up the Washita River some more and build some lakes along there like Tennessee did. Come on. It's right there.
We have multiple dams on the Washita River, the Columbia Locking Dam, and
but no hydroelectric.
You get to low flow season.
No
I know
hydroelectric.
a little bit about this.
I fish Felsenthal. I know.
Okay. So, there are great times when you can move a lot of water up and down the Washita, but then there's also times where there is no water movement.
It is stagnant. Yeah, I have paddled from the Monroe boat dock to the Columbia Locking Dam with my dad when I was a child. He wanted to do a float trip, canoe trip. That was great. We're going to do a, 2 or 3 day camping trip, except we had to paddle from the Monroe boat dock to Columbia Locking Dam because there's no current in the river. Dad, I was like, what were you thinking?
That's 20 miles.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. It took us an extra day. This was before cell phones. So my mother is like, she was supposed to pick us up down at the Lock and Dam. And she's like, where are y'all? She was like about to call out the search parties. And anyway, it was a fun adventure. Let's put it that way. But yes, as a 9-year-old child, I paddled that far. Yes.
Well, hey, what do you have in store for this upcoming legislative session? What's in your quiver?
So I was fortunate to be elected by my colleagues as the Republican caucus chair, the majority leader for the House. And so I've been working with teams and staff to build our strategy. My goal and my plan is to work with members to ensure that all of the wins and the things that we're working on are seen and heard by people all across the state. We haven't done the best job of touting our big wins over the last several years. And so I'm working with our staff and our team members, and we're building new policy committees to make sure we get the message out. I always have bills, some related on workers' comp and the basically businesses getting hammered with some of the highest workers' comp rates in the nation. Of course, I'll bring a bill there. I've always got some bills in healthcare, working on whether it's behavioral health or just trying to create more efficient delivery systems and paying primary care fairly so people get access to care on the front end. And then I'll probably bring a bill too. I mean, we're talking about, power generation and some of the search, actually some of the studies that we've been doing. So we're looking at some legislation there as well. So it could be 5 bills, it could be 50, or it could be none. But my job is to help, one, get Republican leaders elected. We have a race coming up here in the next several weeks in 2 different districts, House District 37 and House District 60. So just trying to fill those seats with Republicans, raise money for Republicans, and make sure that we keep winning for Louisiana.
I like it. I like it. One last question. I'm going to let you go. And it's not a duck question.
Uh-oh.
Fusion or fission?
Isn't it called fusion?
Well, that fusion is what we want. I want a fusion home reactor.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
Cold
but are you
fusion,
going to do
rather.
that with is your fusion reactor using salt, water, and oxygen? Is that the fusion you're looking for? Or are you looking for red fusion or some other fusion that's a little bit more dynamic?
If I knew that answer, I would not be doing this podcast right now. I would be worth $1 gajillion and I would be fishing.
It is way above
you and
my
Bill
pay.
Gates can figure out that fusion process because he's working on it too, as I understand.
Yeah, so is Trump, ironically. But that's another story entirely. Anyway, I was fishing. Y'all said go fishing. I was fishing. Because we can't duck hunt because there ain't no ducks. Because all these cornholes, they think it's all good. It's nothing to do but climate change. Yeah.
So
okay,
I have one question for you guys. When is your next scheduled interview with Walk on Water? Because I have not seen or heard a promotion for this, but I'm excited to get on and watch you guys collaborate.
We've invited him several times, but
he's a busy
for some
guy.
reason,
And then
he just won't come. It's just kind of like Seabiscuit that for some reason they just don't want no part of it. I mean, I'm real interested to talk about these Minnesota daycares. I hear they put out a lot of money.
So let me tell you something. Several years ago, I ran multiple bills on SNAP fraud detection. And we uncovered hundreds upon hundreds of people in Louisiana that were stealing benefits, didn't even live in the state. This is rampant in every single state, and it probably adds up to trillions of dollars over years. But that's just, I think, the tip of the spear in our healthcare delivery system and where they're spending all this money through CMS and Medicaid and Medicare. It's billions and billions of dollars a year, and hopefully once they uncover all this stuff, and in Louisiana, I think we're going to focus more on this too in this upcoming session. Doge-like efforts, finding more efficiencies in government, rooting out some of the fraud, waste, and abuse, because it is there here too, and it's not just Minnesota. It's in Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, everywhere. It's just it's becoming normal, and that's unfortunate.
It is very much so. Well, maybe we'll be able to root it out, or y'all will.
Yeah, I think it's a product of government. The more government grows, I mean, you're going to have that. And so the best solution is to, reduce the size of government across the board, period, every way that you can. Anyway.
Crazy idea, dude. Crazy idea.
I know. Conspiracy theorist I am. But anyway, Mike, we appreciate it so much. I hate you had a horrible duck season. Maybe somebody will do something. Yet. Maybe somebody will do something and improve that for you, and you can thank them later.
Well, the good Lord above, if he would freeze everything north of Arkansas, I think we'd have a chance. But I don't see that in the next several weeks.
I keep hearing that it needs to freeze. It needs to freeze, but I don't know. NOAA seems to have bad data that just isn't correct. I don't know, but I think we're going to see that debated on a national stage real fast.
Well, let's move the duck season back by about a month. I'd be in favor of that. And old Gadwall, incorporated there, they'll be happy about it too. Lots of Gadwalls to kill for everybody.
Yeah. Well, Gadwalls don't eat corn, so they'll still come. Anyway, Thanks, my brother. We appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good to have you, Mr. Eckles. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Well, that was, if I can get my mouse. Is my mouse not moving? Well, apparently I've lost my mouse. He is always a good guest to have on.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike is. I mean, we joke about the ducks and stuff. I think me and him would have a very spirited debate on ducks, but it would be one that we couldn't have publicly because I know he'd piss me off and I'd piss him off.
Might be a few choice words, huh?
I can only joke with him about ducks, but when it comes to, I mean, he is one of the good guys. I see him frequently in the legislature. He's standing up in the right ways on the right issues. Health freedom. I mean, he was right there, front and center. I mean, he was there.
Yeah, every time we've had him on, he's been a very educated and knowledgeable guest, and he's just seems to be a good guy.
Yes. So for those of you in Bossier, I mean, y'all might want to watch Mr. Eckles. I suspect here in the near future, you'll be hearing his name a little bit more. Now, that's just me and my hypothesis. I have my reasons for believing things that I believe, and I think you're going to hear his name a whole lot more. But on the note and the subject, I shared a link to you, Rex.
Let me see if I
regarding Trump Media and Technology Group announces site selection.
Hold on. I got to find that link. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, give me just a second. I'll get it pulled up here.
And the reason,
copy and paste.
Well, and the reason that I said fusion or fission, which was a prompt to him, because I don't remember which committees Eckles is on, but I was fishing. I was. And he really didn't have a reaction. But as you recall, when Jeff Sadow, and Jeff, you remember when y'all were on the show and I was proposing that this alleged merger that's going to happen with Trump Media and this company, this technology company, to build the first fusion reactor in the U.S. And, we were talking about at some point the legislature last year took some action on approvals for a mini reactor on Barksdale Air Force Base. Well, here we go again. Here's another press release talking about the TAE Technologies and Trump Media and Technology are doing site selections. And if you look at criteria for initial site, or their expected site, minimum of 20 acres. I mean, good gracious, Barksdale can blow that out of the water. Access to private distribution grid that can transport adequate electricity to and from the plant. I mean, I think they got that one covered. Proximity to a metropolitan hub, airport, and pool of local talent. I mean, the airport, you got the largest runway in the United States, less White Sands, New Mexico, which is basically like a desert. Presence of local state governments that support energy production and fusion power. I think we've checked that box easily. I mean, the senator that brought the bill was from this district. And ability to maintain sufficient security for infrastructure and personnel. I don't know. You think we got security and infrastructure covered?
That's a loaded question.
We check all the boxes, but Mr. Eckles shot a hole in my theory a little bit as talking about they're putting 3 gas-powered electrical facilities over there near Monroe. I would think that would produce enough excess that would cover things over here, but I'm no electrician. I don't know how all that crap works. Maybe they put 3 of them over there and they put a fusion reactor over here and we send it west and they send it east. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really not sure. Well, and I'm not sure how that works between Energy and SWEPCO. They're separate entities, right? So I don't know if Energy would be selling power to SWEPCO so it could benefit us. But, of course, that leads into the whole data centers over here and what are they going to do about the power over here? And and the one question or one point I meant to make with Eckles was some of the rate increases that people are reporting, there might be something to that because the power companies tend to put these extra fees on there. And so they preemptively have us all pay for things when they're going to upgrade their infrastructure. So it's not like they take, some of their excess revenue that they have and they go build this infrastructure. Basically, we prepay for it and then they build it and then we continue to pay for it. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm no power expert, but that's pretty much the way it works. Pay attention to your power bill. I will say Colonel Crockett brought that up, but I brought it up to him also. Well, you need to pay attention to your phone bill as well. So anyway.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I just wanted to keep trying to solidify my position that of my hypothesis and what I'm saying may happen. I don't know what I'm looking at.
The business of constructing a research facility to go get towards fusion, I agree with that. But the process of getting to fusion, that might be a little ways off. But we'll see. Hey, Elon may have us on Mars within 10 years too. You never know. So, all right.
Yep.
What else are we going to talk about? Do we have anything else to talk about?
Let's see, CAO. Wasn't we going to talk about the CAO of Bossier? Because
we're
if
gonna
I
mention it.
Yeah, Amanda's out. She's gone, checked out. But, there is allegedly other names being considered.
Well, my vote's Richard Ray still. I want Comedy Hour.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think that would put the mayor's office on a collision course for calamity. No doubt, no doubt. But if you were trying to think outside the box, think of some names. What if you really wanted to try to go outside the box and maybe get somebody with some experience, somebody that's maybe been in the
Politically
trenches,
savvy.
politically savvy, been in the trenches before. They're about. They're the quintessential economic development type person, wants to grow the community, and that whole thing. I mean, let's think. There's got to be some people out there.
Yeah, you need somebody that's used to dealing with bureaucracies and all that sort of thing that comes along with it. I'm going to promote Eugene G.
Wait a minute. Who the heck is Eugene G?
He's the commie guy.
The comedy guy?
Commie, as in McCarthy, as in communism.
Wait a minute. Are you alleging that the mayor, our mayor, Tommy Chandler, is wanting to put a commie in a CAO?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it would be interesting. He could reach across party aisles, way across party aisles, all the way to the Communist Party of China.
Well, who is Eugene G?
I don't know. There's a Newsmax article, that he's that guy from Stonehenge.
Oh,
that guy.
Well, we have friends that allegedly go out there and their family plays mahjong out there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Watch out. Mahjong is a way for the Chinese communists to take over. Yeah.
Indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's what I hear. I mean, allegedly is indoctrination.
Right.
But I had no idea that communist China had the golf course north of Barksdale and south of Barksdale. I mean, no. Wait a minute.
According to Newsmax, and sources say within the Air Force Global Strike Command, that could be a problem.
I hate. I mean, look. I take. I don't want people to think that we don't take that seriously, and I don't think that communist China needs to have a damn piece of land anywhere in the country. Get that out of the way. But this guy's had that crap forever. This ain't news.
Right.
This is not news. I mean, this is like the water rate increase in Bossier. This is old news. It ain't got a damn thing to do with the data center.
Maybe it's a Mission Impossible. Maybe he's like Tom Cruise, secretly at night after, everybody's through playing golf. He gets in his black ninja suit. Oh, wait, that's Japanese. Chinese or Kung Fu.
Ooh,
So maybe he gets in his
Japanese. I can't believe you.
Well, it took me a second. I had to remember. And no offense to my Japanese or Chinese friends, but maybe he is spying on Barksdale. I mean, maybe he's secretly climbing the fence at night and sneaking on, the Air Force Base and, sending back secrets to communist China.
Now, that during the previous administration, they were vetting that crap, in between going after January 6th. Oh, it is January 6th. You remember January 6th when, all the MAGA people stormed the Capitol and were insurrecting the government, trying to. I mean, do we all still? Does anybody? I never believed that. Does the majority of people still believe that?
Oh, there were lots of people killed on January the 6th, by the way. Literally on that day.
Death, rape and pillage, death and destruction,
Carnage,
no doubt.
Yeah. Anyway, but I digress.
But look, we can all rest assured that the former administration vetted communist China having golf courses at the north and south end of the largest bomber base in the world. I mean, we know that they did it.
But this says a combined, I'm reading this Newsmax article. This says a combined 340-acre property owned since 2013. So that would have been during the Obama administration. Right? My math is right.
Yeah. Well, Trump didn't go in until what? 2016?
2016, yeah.
2016. Yeah. So that would have been Obama.
So Obama let a commie in. But back to the point of CAO, I think it would be an interesting dynamic. I mean, I'm for Richard Ray or potentially a communist guy, according to Newsmax.
Okay, well, I'm out on those choices, but I got to tell you, I'm looking at experience. I'm looking at polished.
Reviving Shane Cheatham. Okay.
Look, I am not gay, but good looking, polished, wily to politics and the machinations of economic development and government. And, I think I would look towards the port. That's where I think I would look towards.
I don't think you need to look towards the port. Crockett's pushing for Lee Jeter. Wait, what? Did he actually have a job at the NAACP? Was he actually getting paid?
Oh, so
I thought Jeter's stick was the housing thing.
Oh, well, I mean, look, Lee Jeter did turn his back on the term limits thing. So, I mean, remember we coined him Judas Jeter. So, yeah, I could see that being a potential consideration. I could see that.
But then again, what about Lewis?
Well,
if he gives it to Jeter, isn't that a slight to Lewis, who has been a dedicated public information officer, in addition to, all the stuff? I believe he used to be a firefighter and all that in Shreveport, a pretty good career over there.
But Lewis took the fire chief's test, and he had the most credentials of anybody that took the fire chief's test, and he got overlooked to be the fire chief.
Oh, that's right.
So, I mean, what difference would it make? He'd just get overlooked for CAO.
So are you saying it should be, what's that guy's name at the port? Robert England? Oh, no, that's the Freddy Krueger guy. What's his name? England?
No, England. That's David Montgomery's big buddy.
Okay.
No, That's his buddy. No. He was the former CAO of Ollie Tyler in Shreveport. He was a former fire chief in Shreveport, and he apparently lives in Bossier. And rumor is he's being considered. And there's another name out there, but I can't remember that other name.
Now, doesn't this guy you're alluding to, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't he live out at Stonebridge? Communist Bridge?
Stone? Did you say Stone Cipher?
Whatever it's called out there.
Where is Elliot Stone Cipher, by the way?
I have not heard a peep from Elliot Stone Cipher in a long time.
Yeah, me neither.
Of course, he and I don't get along that well.
Well, he's not real hip with me either.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, when he came to talk to the PEC, I got a phone call from the chairman of the PEC at that time asking me to please be nice to him.
Yeah, the last time he and I talked, he hung up on me, and we hadn't talked since.
Yeah.
So
anyway, well, again, we digress down memory lane. So back to the CAO deal. So, all right, what's everybody's vote? Again, I think we asked a couple of shows ago, what do y'all think? Who do y'all think Tommy is going to put up, for the run through of the city council for CAO, Chief Admin Officer?
Yeah, and so we're giving y'all hints to let y'all kind of pick, but we hear that the lead contender is an individual who is out there at the Caddo Bossier Port, and he was formerly a CAO in the city of Shreveport, and that cat's in the driver's seat. He was a former fire chief in Shreveport.
So
we'll let y'all chew on that one a little bit and think about it.
Paul Johnson says, director of the port is the biggest plum in North Louisiana pay-wise, but we may not be speaking of the director of the port. It's not going to be Freddy Krueger.
You wouldn't leave the port if you're making the salary that the director of the port is making. You wouldn't do that. But if you're a member of the port and you're kind of a little lower than that, you'd be in consideration. Should we tell them? Because I ain't seen nobody posting it in the comments. So that means nobody knows.
Yeah. Either that or what do we got? I don't know. We got 50-something people watching. I mean, we like hearing from the Colonel. We like hearing from Paul Johnson and Dee Dee and Sad Owl, but come on, folks. Speak up. Type away.
All right. Well,
let's be coy about it for a while.
Yeah, we'll be coy a little longer. Well, Jeff Sadow says Stone Cipher threatened to sue him. How about that?
Yeah. Well, he and I went at it over Mario Chavez.
Yeah. Hey, Rusty. No, I will tell you no. The king is not in consideration.
Thank you very much. All right, so it's going to be interesting to see who it is or who it might be.
Yep. Well, are we about wrapping up, or are we going to go to something else to buy a little time, give folks a little more time, or are we going to?
I say we wrap it up. We're just rambling now. Uh-oh.
Somebody's...
Jessica Langley Maddox. No, Jessica Langley Maddox beat him to the punch. Her comments higher up than his.
Yeah, it is. It came through first.
Yeah.
Brian Crawford. Allegedly, Brian Crawford is in consideration for the CAO job. He has been said to have been seen around City Hall. And, apparently, even if he is not the person, he, again, allegedly has agreed to fill in and help Mayor Chandler with the CAO duties in the meantime until one's picked.
Could be interesting. We'll see. This is an important pick for Tommy, and we all know how it went the first time.
Now, I think that pick will have to pass council approval, which, interestingly, you hear Cujo?
I was wondering. I thought it was a toilet flushing.
That is not a toilet. That is my dog. and someone
Is he
he's
rabid?
warning. He is warning someone to chill out. So you come up into my camp, that's what you're going to get. But interestingly, he would seem to be able to pass council approval because he was appointed to the port, just here recently. So he passed this council's approval to get appointed to the port.
Could be interesting. I still say, Tommy, don't do that. Don't do the logical pick. Pick Richard Ray, please. For my sake, Tommy.
Yeah, and interestingly, people should kind of be wondering. David Crockett brings up a good point. What about free parking lots? That's what happened to our report on free parking lots?
Yeah, here, let me do my little deal. Paging Brian Hammonds. What about the parking lots? Hello.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
I'm out of stuff to talk about unless we want to ramble on, but honestly, I've been thinking about fishing and all sorts of stuff lately, so we'll have to ramble about fishing.
Well, I'm done. Not talking about fishing. So that's all I got. The water rate increase ain't got nothing to do with the data center, so y'all got to find something else to gripe about. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it. And data centers are not going to cause power issues, nor water issues, nor noise issues. Don't worry about it. Y'all are all crazy and conspiracy theorists. There. See?
Yep.
Yeah. Right,
So we settled it all.
Yeah. All right, Mr.
Just keep
Lowrie.
paying your taxes and smiling.
Yeah. It's been fun again. We appreciate everybody watching and commenting and all that sort of thing, and everybody that shares it out and all that good stuff. We will most likely be having another show next Tuesday night or whatever night we decide. Again, we usually decide that not long before the show starts.
Amen to that. All right. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody. We enjoyed it.